Welcome back to another video, everyone. Today I'm going to be reacting to why deserts get so cold at night. So for those of you who live in the desert, this one's for you. And if you don't live in the desert and you're curious or just want to watch this video, sit back, get your snacks, and get ready to enjoy another react with the Big JB. Before we get started, I wanted to mention that I recorded a lot of these videos on the same day, so no, I'm not wearing the same clothes every day. These videos are just recorded on the same day and posted another day, so I just thought I would put that out there before any of y'all go up in the comment sections talking about he wearing the same thing as last video. I also want to put out there that a lot of you that view my videos do not hit that like button. So go ahead, while you're watching, hit that like button. Show a little bit of love. I usually don't ask, but I'm going to start asking now because it seems like I have to. And I know some of you who have been watching is asking, why does he keep wearing this hat? Well, I'm going to just kind of wear this hat the whole time. Like, any kind of hat, really, but this one's really the only one I have. I want to wear different kinds of hats, you know, throughout my streams. Just for streams. Really, in real life, I'm not really that much of a hat person. But anyways, let's cut the yapping out and get into the video. Now, I know I said I would cut the yapping out, but I do want to mention the last place I would want to live is a desert. Rough place to live. If you live out there, you're a champ. Let's be real now. Anyways, let's get on into this.
You think of a desert and you picture heat. Blistering, relentless, turn your flip-flops into melted goo kind of heat. Sand dunes rippling under a blazing sun. Mirage puddles, sunburns, camels that look like they've given up. But here's a twist that might surprise
Sorry for that little glitch there. Don't know what happened.
you. Deserts can get freezing cold at night. Like, bring your parka, water turns to ice, better cuddle your camel kind of cold. And it happens almost every single night in some places. How is that even possible? How can a place cook you by day and chill you to the bone by night? Welcome to the strange physics of...
You know, and that's another thing. Like, back in the day, and I'm gonna get into some Wild West stuff. You know how the people were like living out their camps and stuff, no AC and stuff. How? Because the average person today couldn't. How? And that wasn't even that long ago. That was only about 100 years ago. Maybe a little more. It's just how.
the desert. First, what makes a desert a desert? Contrary to popular belief, being a desert isn't about being hot. It's about being dry. A desert is defined as any region that receives less than 10 inches of rainfall per year. That means Antarctica is a desert. So is Greenland. And yes, so is the Sahara. The common factor isn't the heat. It's the lack of moisture in the air and soil. And here's the first clue. Moisture is really good at storing heat. So when a place is bone dry, its temperature has a hard time holding steady. And that leads us right into the nighttime mystery. Why deserts get so hot? During the day, let's start with the daytime. The desert gets blisteringly hot during the day because there's nothing stopping the sun's rays from hitting the ground directly. No clouds, no humidity, just raw, unfiltered solar energy slamming into the sand. And sand, by the way...
But why is it certain areas are affected like this? That's my question. Like, why do certain areas not have a certain amount of clouds and stuff?
Is terrible at holding heat. It heats up quickly but doesn't store that energy well. So during the day, surface temperatures can spike to 120 degrees Fahrenheit or even higher.
120? Nah. 120 is crazy.
You can fry an egg, you can burn your feet, but wait until the sun dips. Now the sun sets, and everything changes. As soon as the sun goes down, the heat party is over. Remember how we said sand doesn't store heat well? That means it also loses heat really fast. There's no water vapor in the air to trap outgoing infrared radiation. There are no clouds to reflect heat back down, so the warmth just leaks into space. This is known as radiative cooling, and in deserts, it happens with brutal efficiency. Without insulation, the temperature can drop by 40 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit Fahrenheit in just a few hours. In some high-altitude deserts like the Atacama or parts of the Gobi, it can go from shorts and sandals weather to frost on your sleeping bag cold in one night. So where does the heat go? It doesn't go anywhere fancy. It just escapes into the black void of space. At night, the Earth radiates heat back upward in the form of infrared waves. In most places, clouds and moisture
In other words, we just don't quite fucking know yet.
trap some of that energy and reflect it back down like a thermal blanket. But in the desert, no moisture, no clouds, no blanket, just bye-bye. That's why deserts cool down so dramatically. Let's talk specifics. Sahara versus Atacama versus Mojave. Sahara Desert. Daytime temps often reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit, but nights can drop to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, or even close to freezing in winter. Atacama Desert.
That
Chile.
is insane. Bro. Hell no. Hell no. I gotta have a little debate though. Like, actually though. Like, be real with me in the comments. Would you live in a desert? Why? How would you do it? All that stuff. Sorry, I might have bumped my mic. But how? Like, how would you live in a desert if you wanted to? If not, you know, of course, tell me why. Of course, why you wouldn't want to. Maybe it's different from mine. Maybe you have some other, you know, it could be the animals out there. It could be whatever. I'm just trying to figure out, like, the people that want to live there, why? Why? You can't tell me it's cheaper, because I'm sure there's cheaper places to live that isn't the desert. Anyways, now that we've gotten that over with, I'm going to go ahead and get back into this.
Because it's at higher altitude and extremely dry, temperatures can drop below freezing at night despite sunny, pleasant days. Mojave Desert,
Like, it just
USA,
don't seem
a classic
pleasant.
example of swing weather. 1 hour, you're sweating. 3 hours later, you're shivering in a hoodie. The bigger the gap between day and night temperatures, the drier and more exposed the landscape is. How animals survive desert nights. Desert wildlife are masters of thermoregulation. They've evolved over millennia to handle both scorching days and freezing nights.
I
With
bet.
style, Jerboas dig burrows that stay warm overnight and emerge only after sunset. Sidewinder snakes use the sand itself as insulation, curling beneath the surface during cold spells. Scorpions slow their metabolism to conserve energy and heat. Each
Wow.
species has a trick, because out here, adaptability isn't just a perk, it's survival. And even insects like desert beetles have adapted body shapes and postures that reduce heat loss and maintain moisture. Tiny strategies that mean the difference between life and death. Some larger animals, like foxes or desert hares, use their large ears as radiators during the day and then tuck themselves into dens or crevices at night to conserve warmth. The desert forces every creature to become a thermal strategist. Now imagine being a plant in that environment. You're stuck in the ground. You can't run. You can't borrow a hoodie. All you've got is biology, and that's where things get interesting. First off, water storage. Most desert plants, like cacti and succulents, are basically squishy water balloons with survival degrees. They store moisture in thick, fleshy tissues, not just for drought, but also to buffer against cold. That water acts as a thermal reservoir, absorbing heat during the day and slowly releasing it at night. It's like having a built-in hot water bottle, except it's full of cactus juice. Next, let's talk insulation. Some plants are covered in waxy coatings that help reduce water loss, but also trap heat. Others grow tiny hairs, yes, plant body hair, which create a thin layer of still air around them, like a natural puffer jacket. It's not much.
So you tell me that these animals have an adaptability to go up to these cactuses and wherever the hell these plants that are storing heat is to grab some heat during the night? Or is he just explaining this to explain it?
But when the night air drops to near freezing, every fuzzy little fiber helps. How humans have learned to adapt. Long before air conditioning, desert cultures developed ingenious ways to cope. Nomadic tribes build tents with thick insulating materials like wool or layered cloth that keep heat in at night. Adobe houses store
Okay, but they also keep heat in the day, so there's just nowhere to escape the heat. Which, in my opinion, is worse. I can live in 50 degrees rather than 120. I don't know, though. Some people are different.
or heat during the day and release it slowly as the temperature drops. Desert clothing is loose-fitting and layered, light for the day, protective for the cold evening. Modern explorers still rely on layering and thermal blankets because underestimating a desert night can be fatal. And even today, architects in desert cities like Dubai or Phoenix apply old wisdom in new forms: thermal mass materials, reflective coatings, and advanced insulation. It's a reminder that human innovation often begins with understanding nature. We've even developed temperature-sensitive windows and passive solar designs that automatically adjust to daily heat swings, technology mimicking survival strategies nature invented ages ago. Here's a cosmic twist. Mars is essentially one giant desert, with daytime highs around 70 degrees Fahrenheit and nighttime lows plunging to negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit. No atmosphere, no moisture, no thermal blanket. Sound familiar? In fact, scientists study Earth's deserts, like the Atacama, as proxies for Martian conditions. And future Mars explorers? They'll be living in an environment even more extreme than any desert on Earth. So that weird temperature crash in the Sahara? Consider it a training ground for space. NASA even tests rovers in desert regions on Earth to simulate Martian nights. That's how harsh and useful these ecosystems are for science. Here's the kicker. Climate change is starting to mess with the desert's cold.
You're telling me it's just like that on Mars? Because if so, that's insane, dude. Because then technically Mars is just one big old desert. Am I wrong? That's insane. Man.
Nights. Because greenhouse gases trap more heat in the atmosphere, even places that used to cool dramatically at night are now holding on to more warmth. That might sound good, no more freezing toes, but it's terrible for ecosystems that depend on nightly cooling. Some desert plants need cold nights to trigger flowering. Some animals need it for reproduction cycles. The desert isn't just hot and dry, it's precisely calibrated, and we're nudging the thermostat. Add to that the rising use of artificial lighting and urban sprawl in desert cities, and you get something called the urban heat island effect. Even in places that should go dark and cold, the temperature clings longer, reshaping life in subtle but powerful ways. In short, deserts are warming, day and night, but the loss of their chilling contrast may turn out to be more disruptive than we expect. If you've ever camped in a desert, you know the night brings a silence so deep it's almost loud. But listen closely, and you'll hear things. The rustle of nocturnal creatures emerging from burrows, the distant howl of a coyote, the sudden rush of wind sweeping over dunes. The temperature drop transforms not just the air, but the entire mood. It's a haunting, beautiful calm, a reminder that the desert isn't dead at night, it just whispers. Sometimes the stars feel closer than the ground. The desert sky, free from light pollution, becomes a theater of galaxies.
Really?
Cold night, warm stars. So next time you think of deserts as just blazing hot sandscapes, remember, they're also icy, unpredictable, and thermally chaotic. In a way, deserts are like cosmic mood rings. They feel everything. They absorb all the heat, then give it all away. Every day is fire, every night is ice. But beneath the extremes, there's balance. A delicate, ancient rhythm between sun and sky, sand and stars. The kind of rhythm that lets life exist in the unlikeliest of places. If we pay attention, deserts can teach us more than we expect, not just about climate and physics, but about resilience, adaptation, and beauty in harshness. So, if you ever visit a desert, bring sunscreen, and a blanket, and a bit of awe for a place that survives by being everything, all at once. Because when the sun goes down, the desert isn't empty, it's alive, in a quieter, colder, but equally extraordinary way. Let me ask you something.
W video, man. W video. Anyways. I just don't understand why somebody would want to live in a desert. I still don't. Maybe there's some big reason that I don't know about. Maybe there's something small. I don't know. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.